Have you ever felt that people come to you only when they need something? Have you ever cancelled your own plans, your rest, your sleep, or your peace just to help someone who forgets you the moment they are done? If you have felt this, then this story is for you. Because sometimes life teaches us the hardest lessons through the people we care about the most. Once, in a peaceful little town surrounded by long green fields and calm old houses, there lived a man named Adrian. Everyone in the town knew him well. If someone's bicycle chain broke, they called for Adrian. If someone needed help carrying heavy boxes, they knocked on Adrian's door. If a lonely person needed someone to talk to, they went straight to Adrian's house. He never said no. He always smiled and said, "Of course I'll help." He believed that helping others made him a better person, and people often praised him for his kindness. But slowly, without even realizing it, Adrian's life stopped belonging to him. His garden remained half clean. His windows stayed broken. His roof needed repairs. His own problems kept piling up, but instead of fixing them, he was always outside in the town fixing everything for everyone else. Every night he returned home covered in dirt and sweat. His mother looked at him with tired eyes and said, "Adrian, my dear boy, you help everyone, but why does no one ever help you?" Adrian always gave the same small smile and replied, "It's all right, Mom. One day, people will remember my kindness." But that day never came. One evening, the sky suddenly turned dark and heavy winds began to blow. The people of the town rushed to protect their gardens and belongings before the storm arrived. Adrian also ran outside, but not to save his own things. He went straight to help his friend Marcus, whose tools and equipment were still lying outside. They worked quickly, covering everything with cloth and moving items into the shed. But Adrian's own garden furniture was still outside. His plants were still uncovered. His wooden boxes were still open. And then the storm arrived. Rain poured heavily. The wind roared through the town. And by the time Adrian reached home, almost everything in his garden was ruined. He sat quietly on the front steps, rain dripping from his face, staring at the muddy mess that used to be his peaceful garden. His mother placed a warm towel on his shoulder and said softly, "Adrian, today you saved everyone's things except your own." Adrian didn't reply, but inside him, something finally broke. The next morning, tired and confused, he walked to the edge of the town to meet old Mr. Raymond, a wise retired teacher who lived in a small cottage near the river. Adrian sat beside him and said, "Sir, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. I help everyone, but I feel empty. I feel tired, not from work, but from people. Why does it feel like kindness is breaking me?" Mr. Raymond quietly watched the river flowing slowly and then said, "Adrian, look at this river. It gives water to trees, to birds, to animals, and to farms. But when it rains too much and the river forgets its path, what happens?" Adrian thought for a moment and replied, "It floods. It destroys everything." "Exactly," Mr. Raymond said. "Kindness without boundaries becomes self-destruction." You are kind, Adrian, but you have no limits. You run everywhere for everyone, but nowhere for yourself. You think saying no is wrong, but sometimes saying no is the most honest form of self-care. Adrian listened carefully as Mr. Raymond continued. For the next 7 days, don't say yes immediately. When someone asks for help, pause and ask yourself, will helping them harm me? Will I lose time, peace, or energy that I truly need? For myself? If yes, then say, not today. Try this, Adrian. You will see what happens. The next morning felt different. Around noon, Marcus rushed toward Adrian and said, "Adrian, Please help me move a heavy box. I really need you. Adrian looked at his own broken fence, the same fence that had been waiting for repair for months. His heart wanted to say yes, but then he remembered Mr. Raymond's words. He took a slow breath and said, Marcus, I'm sorry. Today, I need to fix my own fence. I can help you later, but not today. Marcus stared at him in surprise. You're saying no? You never say no. Adrian nodded quietly. Marcus walked away looking upset, and Adrian felt a little guilty. But this time, he stayed focused. Within a few hours, the fence that had been broken for months finally stood strong again. For the first time in a long while, Adrian felt a small but powerful sense of pride in taking care of his own life. The next day, two neighbors came asking for small favors. Help with carrying shopping bags, help fixing a chair. But Adrian politely refused and explained that he was busy with his own work. That evening, instead of feeling tired and used, he felt light and calm. A quiet peace filled his heart. On the fourth day, the sky turned gray again, and another round of heavy rain began to pour. This time, Adrian's roof started leaking. He looked outside, waiting for someone to knock on his door, just like he had always knocked on theirs. But no one came, not a single person. He could have felt angry, but instead, he felt something new, strength. He picked up his tools and started fixing the roof himself. It took time, it took patience, but when he finally finished, he sat quietly under his repaired roof and whispered to himself, so this is what it feels like, to depend on myself. Days turned into weeks. Slowly, Adrian became a different man. He stopped running everywhere the moment someone called his name. He stopped sacrificing his sleep and his peace for people who never truly cared. Instead, he began waking up early to take care of his garden. He cleaned his house. He invested time in himself. And then something unexpected happened. People started respecting him more. Marcus began solving his own problems instead of depending on Adrian. Neighbors stopped calling him for every little thing. The town was still friendly. But now, people no longer treated Adrian like a tool they could use anytime they wanted. Adrian's house looked better. His garden began to grow beautifully. His face looked fresher. And for the first time in years, he laughed without feeling tired. He was no longer the man who was always available for everyone. He became the man who finally valued himself. One afternoon, Mr. Raymond visited Adrian. He looked at the healthy plants, the neat yard, and the peaceful smile on Adrian's face. Then he asked softly, So, Adrian, did the world fall apart when you stopped saying yes to everyone? Adrian smiled and replied, No, sir. In fact, my world finally started coming together. Mr. Raymond nodded gently and said, When you stop saying yes to everyone, you finally say yes to yourself. And that is the moment when life begins to change. So, my friend, are you like Adrian? Do you give too much? Do you say yes even when it hurts? Remember this, saying no does not make you selfish. It makes you strong. It means you are choosing peace over pressure. Your time, your mind, and your heart are precious. Protect them, because the world will respect you only when you start respecting yourself.